Good morning, Niagara. You're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop, where we mix a little humor, a little know-how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters to the weird noises to the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee, sit back, join the crew because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, and a few good laughs. I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins. We're shifting into drive this morning. Thanks for coming along with us. And thank you for letting me into your world as I'm inviting you into mind. Mind. That's what I said. Into mind. Yeah. My mind. Good luck with that. Wow. Lots going on. Hope you're doing well. Be careful out there. There could be some slippery spots this morning. We're going to have the morning weather in just a couple of moments as we get things rolling. If you're on your way through the drive-through, I did a drive-through yesterday. First time, and I can't believe how long, and it cost me $5.03. Yeah. And I'm looking at the cup, and I'm going, that's a medium cup of coffee? Egads, man. Come to the workshop. I'll show you what a cup of coffee looks like. Yeah, and I got picked up we called them Barney burgers. I saw the Barney burger on the rack through the window. I'm like, I got to have that. Yeah, I haven't had a Barney burger in probably 30 years. Yeah, I think they call them Walnut Crunch. Yeah, we called them Barney burgers because we bought a dog, 6 of us, when I was working at Peterbilt Hamilton. That was our guard dog, and we called him Barney. And Barney would leave you, yeah, Barney biscuits. And we had to take turns picking up the Barney burgers. So that's where that came from. So, we often would look in the donut box and go, look, Barney's been here. There's a Barney burger in the donut box. Anyhow, I digress. I thought I'd share that story with you. Barney, after the dealership closed, and there we were, myself and my friend Paul, standing on the concrete platform with our toolboxes, and the place got chained closed. And he goes, my cousin's coming to pick us up. He's got a trailer. And so, yeah, very interesting. Some interesting times, let me tell you. Very interesting times. You can't make this stuff up. So if you're in the drive-through, it is a drive-through. Check your order. Exactly. Make sure it's spot on before you pull out. Lock it into your cup holder. Pass the 16 pack of Crayola crayons and the official leaf bag that makes up our Car Connection workshop. Yeah. Laptop for taking notes. And if you miss the notes and you don't have a co-pilot, we have 100 lessons in vehicle ownership they never told you up on our iHeartRadio library. Yeah, we are going to be shifting gears into Season 2, Episode 101 next week. So come along and celebrate that with us. All those episodes, 100 episodes, are there for you with titles, dates, and episode numbers, season numbers, so that you can find them, share them with your friends all over the world, and learn stuff about the basic fundamentals of vehicle ownership that will help you to create longevity for your engine and transmission and keep these cars going as long as you possibly can. This morning's topic is I'm loving it. I'm loving it because we're talking about DIY family garage. Do-it-yourself family garage culture is disappearing. Why? We're going to break that out this morning, and here's why that matters. Here's why it matters. So we're going to cover that in just a few moments, but let's get all the things out of the way that we have to in order to satisfy everybody that's involved with Car Connection. So everything we talk about here on podcasts, everything we do on our YouTube channel is all teaching you, no excuses. Your size, your weight, your age, none of it matters. All the videos on our YouTube channel will teach you all the basic fundamentals so you know stuff and you don't get ripped off when you take your vehicle in for service. And so every video is teaching you the 5 things: what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks. What could you have known and done differently that would have saved you that money on that component failing? And tomorrow, our fleet maintenance video will be up for you after 4:30. 4:30, it drops tomorrow. And I would suggest, highly suggest, if on your list of things to do is to save money when it comes to the automobile, that you listen to that fleet maintenance Car Connection. I'm going to call it the master program on how to take care of your automobile step by step, and you can do it from your very own home with our Car Connection maintenance schedule that I drafted up originally as a fleet maintenance list, so that when I was working on fleets for other companies that I was employed by, I did not miss a single aspect of that vehicle, so that we would get in trouble with the fleet manager and the following inspection after the fleet vehicles returned to their location. And so I modified that to work on light truck passenger vehicles so anyone could follow along. If you can hold a dry erase marker and post up your schedule either with the stickies or the magnets and check boxes that generally cost you money when you take the car to the dealer for, their whatever kilometer checkup, and you get a check. Every one of those check marks is like $30. So my neighbor tells me. So he's in his late 70s doing his own oil changes on his Beamer. Because he goes, I'm not paying $800-900 for someone to look at stuff. Do nothing, just look at it and go, check. Car mats they're anchored. Yep, check. $30. Glove box light, does that go out when it closes? Is the latch working? Check. $30. No, we need to spend the money wisely. And so that video drops tomorrow, being February what? Where are we at? 27 tomorrow? Yeah, 27 tomorrow. Wow, February wraps up this weekend. Saturday is the last show of February already. Wow. I just need a moment. Yes. You know what that means? Daylight savings time is coming. Oh, yeah. And spring. I haven't seen a robin yet. I'll let you know, because they generally arrive here on the south shores of Lake Erie fairly early. So I will sound the alert. So I would, again, highly recommend that you subscribe, like, share, comment, follow, ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single video, because we got some amazing stuff already up there. Almost 200 teaching videos, and they're fun too, because I am a bit of an idiot. I'm just saying. Others say other things, but it's okay. It's okay. The description still works. It's good to have fun and release those dolphins, because everyone needs to have a purpose in life. Pum. Okay, next, let's move on. So that drops tomorrow, and you're going to want to find out how to get one of my maintenance schedules for yourself, for your sons, your daughters, as we talked about yesterday. The importance of, where were we yesterday? We were here. Yeah, teaching kids car ownership. Moms and dads, I really, really mean that. I do. I live close to a high school, and I see these cars these kids are bombing around in. Some of them, some of them look like they just barely escaped a Beirut car bomb. I wouldn't let my kid drive in them. It's just they're total junk. They sound like the pizza delivery guy. There can't be any exhaust on them anymore. And they're beat up from corner to corner. Crazy. You know what that tells me about the kid that's driving it? Could give a damn about that car. Just sees it as, you know what? When I'm done with it, it's just going to go to the curb. My parents will get me another one. That's the attitude, the right of entitlement. Isn't that the disease we got going on around the world? The right of entitlement. Nope. I don't know about you, but as I talked about yesterday, I was not allowed to touch the family car after my brother wrecked two of them. And I had to get my own deal. And I am a middle child, and I understand my position in the siblings. Yeah. And I didn't have that opportunity to even have the keys to the family car. And personally, I didn't want to touch it because, you know, you touch, you buy kind of thing. What did you do to it? I didn't do anything. And then you end up paying for it. So anyhow, it was best that I had my own. So you want to get your kids going on the fleet maintenance thing, on a car connection maintenance schedule, right from the get-go. And I would suggest if you missed that podcast yesterday, you missed a lot. You need to, in fact, I could have spoke for another hour just on the importance of making sure that your son and your daughter, okay, you know, here, I get the deal. You're the parents. You want to do everything for Sally and Johnny, but you're not helping them. When it comes to an automobile, you are not helping them. You're enabling them. They need to fully understand what it takes to buy a car and maintain a car and take care of it. Or they're going to be stuck playing the automotive game, the never plan, principle and interest. And we're going to talk, this is all going to circle back in just a few moments as we talk about DIY family garage culture is disappearing. This is all planned, folks. Myself and my tech cronies that had shops on the Hamilton Mountain, was a group of us that were in it to help the customer. We're in it to help the customer save money where we can, and we were in it and still in it for the love of automobiles and teaching others that, you know what, you don't need to get stuck in the vortex of the never plan, going home to work, 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 making a stinking car payment. Are you kidding me? I've done it. Got the shirt, and I don't like the taste of it either. Done. I'm done. I'll go down to Kenny U Pull-It in St. Catharines and say, I'll take that one right there as is and put it back together and drive it for 10 years. Yeah, because there's a ton of vehicles in there that look like brand new, and it's because you blew the transmission up and then realize we don't have $8,000, honey, to put a transmission in it. So you go in the hole and you buy another one. See the never plan, how it works? Yeah, and I go in there and harvest, baby. Harvest. We got a van coming in. Skippy and I went down in July. You can watch that video. We just about died in that yard. It was so hot that day, middle of July. It was almost 100. And we were wandering around just looking at the quality of the vehicles in there and going, my goodness, it's like a car lot in here. It's a smorgasbord. We could have plucked something out of there and put it on the road probably in 2 months. Very easily. And some people might say, well, how come you didn't have the 97 Jeep TJ Wrangler done in 2 months? There's a reason behind that. Everything for a reason. I could have had that vehicle done in 6 months once we got the motor. But teaching you what neglect does. Why did that vehicle end up in the middle of a truck wrecking yard in Niagara-on-the-Lake? How did it get there? It was so out of place. It got there by neglect. That's it. Neglect. Thinking that vehicles self-heal doesn't work. All right, let's back up the bus and get things going here. There goes a quarter of an hour right there. Anyways, let's thank the Greenville family at 5000 Montrose Road. That's where you will find Niagara Block, building Canada since 1931 with building supplies, hardscape landscaping materials that are absolutely stunning. I got to say, outstanding materials. And they can connect you with contractors that you can trust to estimate accurately, start the project, finish the project, and there you are. See yourself in your backyard makeover. And that becomes your secret place. That place where you can just sit, relax with family, friends, or just be still. Just be still. They can help you with all of that at Niagara Block. So we thank them for bringing to us this morning's weather report. 19 degrees right now, partly cloudy. No snow on the south shores of Lake Erie this morning. Hallelujah for that. Wind is making it feel colder, about 12 degrees. Cloudy conditions expected around 6 a.m. That's pretty soon. And today's temperature range will be from 19 degrees to 26 degrees. And it'll feel more like 10 degrees to 24 degrees. And yes, that is Fahrenheit. Somebody asked me yesterday, oh, is that Celsius or Fahrenheit? I go, I only speak English. Yeah, metric is the tool of the devil, period. Inches, feet, yards, miles, and Fahrenheit. Thank you very much. So thank you to Niagara Block for bringing that to us this morning. Next up, yes, we are going to run the 30-day fuel savings challenge, and I really got to thinking about it. We're below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We need to be above 50 degrees Fahrenheit to truly run that course, and I'll be your coach all the way, and watch how much money you can put back in your pocket, in your wallet. So it's two 30-day challenges. There's part 1 and part 2. And at the end of that, you will see how important it is to make some subtle changes that puts money back in your wallet. See, owning and operating an automobile is a science, but it's not complicated. We as people and the talking heads, the white noise, and I'll tell you what, I am so fed up, disgusted, and bored with the white noise and the talking heads, and I just can't simply understand how people can't see through the lies, because I just start laughing. When I hear them talking, they give themselves away every single time they open their yaps. They should not play poker ever, because their body language, their facial expressions, and the words they say, they cannot help themselves, folks. They can't help themselves from lying. And I just start laughing. And in the automotive world, we've been laughing for a long time because the game is on. It all started with the term cafe. Yeah, which brings me to, let's thank the brothers at Rainbow Motors, Rita and Ramiz at Rainbow Motors and Garage, sales and service you can trust in Scarborough, for bringing us this morning's Car Connection Swiggy. Are you ready? So whatever your morning beverage is, here's how we do it. We count it down, 3, 2, 1, and we have a Swiggy together. You ready for it? So thank you to Rainbow Motors and Garage. You can buy a car there. They can resource one for you if you're looking for something specific. And you can have any year, make, or model vehicle, including light commercial vehicles, serviced by the brothers, Reed and Ramesh Shanuda, at Rainbow Motors and Garage in Scarborough. Sales and service you can trust. 3, 2, 1. It ain't coffee, but you know what? It keeps me healthy. That's the thing. Cortisol. Check it out. Dr. Mandel. He's one of my favorites. One of my favorite quacks on YouTube's, and I respect him a lot. He shares a ton of knowledge to us, and he's helped me with this. Not having coffee for 1 hour after you wake up. Instead, do something else. And I got this recipe from him, and it makes a huge difference. I just might get into my mankini this summer. I just might. It's looking possible, not impossible. All right, let's jump into the topic this morning. And I'm going to start off with, we have to have the prerequisite. This is the thing. You got to know what happened before where we are right now. Because where we are right now with EVs and vehicles that they're just not lasting. You got to step up. You got to be smart. You got to be a prosumer, not a consumer, and that's why I'm here. I'm here for you. I can fix anything out there on the planet. Almost. I haven't fixed a train or a plane, but I have fixed boats. Yeah, one time, I'll share this with you. One time, I was working at a shop up in Millgrove. Great family, good peeps, lousy coffee. But anyways, I rebuilt these two engines, these twin engines. And then the owner told me who they were for. They were for the owner of Tim Hortons. And so they were for his ship. And so I built the two motors, and then they had to be set up. The crane drops them in, and then you get to be the dude that goes in the hull, and you got to go out on the lake and in the boat underneath the floor and set these two engines up so that they're running perfectly in time. Yeah, and they are so screaming loud, even with a headset on, you can't even hear your heartbeat, and you're setting these motors up, and the boat is in motion. It's crazy. That's all I got to say. Yeah, that was an interesting time. Would I want to do that again? No. No, I wouldn't. But anyways, the motors were good. I did a good job. So back in the day, I'm going to take you back to a conversation we had around the workbench with our coffee pot and a box of donuts, and we could solve just about anything going on in the entire world at any level. We were talking about cafe, and I spent 3 days with 22 to 2,500 automotive service techs in the Airport International Center in Toronto for a 3-day seminar put on by Linder Tech, and got a chance to meet Jim Linder himself. They have a shop in Gasoline Alley right close to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with like 22 service bays. We don't have anything like that in Canada. And these guys, I met a young lady, she was 4 feet tall, who was flipping burgers and got bit by the automotive bug and took training, and she was training us how to diagnose vehicles. And what a master technician, let me tell you. A blonde bombshell, and that's what she did. She had a service bay there, and her job was diagnose, write the prescription, Skippy change the parts, then she would road test it and verify and confirm the repair is done. Went from flipping burgers to becoming a master diagnostician in the automotive world. How killer is that? The whole week, it was a 3-day deal, was talking about and hammering out where are we going with fuel economy, where are we going with alternative fuels, and we were all given a piece of paper to put our name on and the company we represented as a service tech and what we personally thought was going to be the alternative fuel. It was really interesting. Now, keep in mind, we'll round it off at 2,200 service techs. It was only a handful that hit the bullseye. All of us talked about hybrids, EVs, hydrogen, and just another alternative fuel source, natural gas, propane. We went through it all. And it all came down to something simple, the cafe. And that's what car manufacturers have to meet the standards of cafe. So let's jump into that. So anyways, at the end of the day, we had a class on fuel injectors, and the technicians, I'll tell you, they could have definitely built the space shuttle, these fellas and fellettes. We have the ability to create a fuel injector that will get 100 miles to the gallon. We have that ability. But why don't we see that out in the marketplace? That's a question, isn't it? I have a carburetor, if you know what a carburetor is, from the 60s that I scavenged off of a 68 or 69 Chevy Nova, which, by the way, means car no go. I don't know why you'd call a car a Nova. But anyways, a 2-barrel carburetor. Is it 2-barrel? No, it's a 1-barrel. 1-barrel carburetor, Rochester, that gets 60 miles to the gallon. They don't make it anymore. Just like 283s. They don't make them anymore. Why? They lasted too long. They don't make that 1-barrel carburetor because it gets too good a fuel economy. Following me? So our conversation back in 1992, early 92 to 95 was we were already talking about alternative fuels. So I want to read this to you because you have to understand DIY family garage culture is disappearing. All ties in with the cafe, not the one you're drinking. It stands for corporate average fuel economy. That's what it means. And all automobile manufacturers have to meet those standards set by, the talking heads. Standards are regulations in the United States, and that's the CAFE. Corporate average fuel economy standards are regulations in the United States first enacted by the United States Congress in 1975 after the 1973-74 Arab oil embargo. Some of you might be old enough to remember that. To improve the average fuel economy of cars and light trucks, vans, and sport utility vehicles produced for sale in the United States. More recently, efficiency standards were developed and implemented for heavy-duty pickup trucks and commercial medium-duty and heavy-duty vehicles. CAFE neither directly offers incentives for customers to choose fuel-efficient vehicles nor directly affects fuel prices. Rather, it attempts to accomplish the goals indirectly by making it, here we go, listen hard, and rather it attempts to accomplish the goals indirectly by making it more expensive for automakers to build inefficient vehicles by introducing penalties. CAFE standards, listen hard now, CAFE standards are administered by the Secretary of Transportation via the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The original CAFE standards sought to drive automotive innovation to curtail fuel consumption. 100 mile to the gallon fuel injectors. And now the aim is also to create domestic jobs and cut global warming. Yeah. Okay. A study found that stringent CAFE standards, together with government incentives for fuel-efficient vehicles in the United States, and this is North America-wide, because we have vehicles being made in the U.S., come to Canada, made in Canada, go in the U.S., CAFE has to be met, should accelerate the demand for electric vehicles. In 2025, fines for violating CAFE standards were largely eliminated. There's lots more. So if you want to Googly that, CAFE, C-A-F-E, you can read on a lot more. And I'll tell you what, your eyes will be wide open. because what's going on today is very much tied into the politics around cafe. And I will be doing a series on EVs. And I want you EV owners, if you're listening this morning, yeah, your vehicle has mechanical components. It has to be serviced pretty much the same, except the tune-up. They do other things. But I'm not focusing on, in that series, on EVs versus gas engines. I'm looking at the behind the curtain. What is really going on behind the curtain with regards to EVs, the environment, and the like? And it's disgusting. I have to tell you what I have uncovered, and I will provide links for all of it so all of you and the armchair warriors can put down their snacks and their favorite beverage and read for yourself. It's disgusting what's going on. So we're going to talk about it here. Absolutely. The truth. Yeah, sometimes the truth really hurts, but it's better to know than not know. So how does this cafe thing now roll into the DIY? Well, this is why we have vehicles that are engines are blowing up, because we're using super thin motor oil so that the engine's tolerances inside are running super duper tight, and you can't mix and match fluids anymore. You do that, you contaminate and destroy. It's that simple. It's all tied in with cafe. Why when Skippy and I went into the what do they call that again? Is it Kevin U Pullet thing yard in St. Catharines? That's the nearest one to us. We go in there and we film and look at the quality of the vehicles in there. They're not rust buckets. Like you can't close all the doors and climb inside. Some of these things, a lot of them, you could very easily have kept that sucker on the road for a long time. They weren't rotted out. None of them. Not one. We couldn't find one that was rusted right through that was ready for the crusher. That there was nothing to pick off of it. Not one. They were all really decent. So why is that? It all has to do with cafe. Yeah. It's called obsolescence. Yeah, they don't want your vehicle to last. So you're paying all that money and they want it to be gone in 3 to 5 years. Now in Japan, they've been scrapping out their vehicles since 1959. No matter what the mileage, when they hit the age, I think don't quote me on this because I haven't read that for a long time. It's 3 to 5 years. And I think it's closer to 3. So you have a vehicle, you're going to have it for 3 years, and then it gets scrapped. And I used to buy engines and transmissions from a company in Toronto that they bought containers full of engines, transmissions, you name it, drive lines from Japan. And I put a number of those motors in. They couldn't guarantee you the exact mileage on the engine, but you could look at it and go, this thing looks like it just left the assembly line. And I kid you not, the bolts, the hardware, the hose clamps, everything's shiny new. Kid you not. A real beaut to work on. The only issue that we would run into is their right-hand drives there. We got to switch a lot of stuff over. But at the end of the day, we would get an engine, and it would be sold to us from Japan out of a container from a company in Toronto. And I'll circle back in a minute why they do that. It would be complete. Starter, alternator, power steering pump, exhaust manifolds, shiny new. Not a speck of rust on them. And we'd have to switch everything over. But when we put the engine in, you got all that stuff with it. So you got an engine that they guaranteed less than 50,000, less than 5,000 kilometers. They guaranteed that. But they couldn't tell you specifically whether it was 100 or 1,000. but every 3 years, 3 to 5 years, and again, you can look that up. Now, since 1959, they've scrapped their vehicles out by age, not mileage. And then they take them apart, dissect them, and companies are buying components. So I did probably 3 or 4 engines like that, and I'll tell you what a treat it was, because all the hardware is still all shiny new, nothing rusted, corroded, period. And you're getting an engine with pretty much a brand new starter, alternator, power steering pump, all the sensors, like it just came off the assembly line at a decent price, and it's like starting all over again from ground zero in your car, and all that included. It was crazy good. The reason for scrapping out, it stimulated the economy. Build more cars, build more cars, build more cars. And that's what's happening right now. That's exactly what's happening right now. I just had this conversation a couple days ago, and that kind of sparked it. And I go, that's the tether I've been looking for. How does this all weave itself together in the automotive fabric of things? Yeah, they don't want these vehicles lasting more than 3 to 5 years. And that's why engines, transmissions are blowing up, and you're adding to that component. I call it arranged obsolescence by not maintaining it, by falling into that gap of you don't need to maintain it. It's maintenance free. Oh, those are good for 200,000, 50, 225,000 kilometers. They want it to become obsolete. You know what I'm trying to say. Obsolescence. Yeah. Arranged obsolescence. So that's what's happening. So that's why the recycle yards are filled with vehicles that look like new. Yeah, arranged obsolescence. And they're making them more difficult for the do-it-yourselfer to work on. They don't want you touching that vehicle. They want you to have to tool up your home garage with thousands of dollars of equipment like we do in order to do things that you were able to do in your own backyard, in your own workshop at home. That's why the DIY family garage culture is disappearing. Sealed units. You might be able to drain the transmission fluid, but you need equipment to pump it back in under pressure, and it has to be at a specific temperature when you do so. Engines. Oh, there's no dipstick anymore. Just the one behind the wheel, right? Yeah, I couldn't resist that. I had to say it. Sealed units. I remember Ford came out with a twin overhead cam engine, and we had a few of those coming apart, and you can't buy any parts for them. Obsolescence. We'd hear, well, you got to buy a crate engine. It's a modular unit. Well, what does that mean? It means you got to buy the whole motor. There's no parts, internal parts for it. So if there's a problem with the engine, you got to buy another engine. It's modular. So that's what's happening with regards to the CAFE. The CAFE is forcing the manufacturers to make it, the engineer vehicles that it's hands off for you. The backyarder, the do-it-yourselfer. And the sad part about that is that's how I got my start in the automotive world. When I was 13, changing a motor, freezing to death in Antarctica with my pops in a barn that had just a few barn boards on it to call it a building in the middle of winter. Yeah, I think it was like a 66 Mercury pickup truck. Yeah, it was a Merc. It was a Ford, still made by Fomoco, but it was a Merc pickup truck. In fact, there's one, I could take you to one and say, that's the truck we put the motor in. And, Pops would do what he could to pinch pennies and feed the three of us. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom at that time. We worked on cars in the driveway. But that's seriously going away. And they want you to have to only go back to the dealer. And that seems to be the culture now. You know, that fixing cars in dad's driveway and wrenching together, that's how I got the bug of the automotive world. And you know, it has a good and bad points, but there's a ton of freaking politics in it too. And that's why I'm here. I'm letting you know that you don't have to be blindsided by the politics. You can get past it, through it, over it, round it, and under it. As I've mentioned before, the mice have got to get smarter than the cat. And when you figure out the game, and that's why I'm here, to teach you the game, you can win. He who knows the rules best can cheat the bestest. And that's what we're doing. We're out sneaking the sneak. That's what my professor would say. If you want to know how to catch a thief, you have to out sneak the sneak. And then you'll get them every single time because they make mistakes. Yeah. So dad's driveway wrenching versus dealer-only culture seems to be what's really taking over. And some people are finding out that the dealer is not the place to be either. It's unsafe for your wallet. And in the last couple of months of being on the air with our Car Connection Live In Automotive Call-In program, 31 years, I had a lady phone in. I'm going to share this with you. No names. I took the vehicle to the dealer. I'm going to leave make and model out of it as well. But a really good brand of vehicle. Very good, reliable brand of vehicle. Took it in. And this particular lady had a bit of an oil leak. So the techs looked it over, told her she needed an engine. So I sent the lady to a shop that would give it a second look. It just had a wee leak, like it was spotting, not leaving an Exxon Valdez oil slick in the driveway. It had a bit of a seal leak, and they were able to take care of it. Cost a few bucks. Not too many. Another lady, always bought the vehicle at the dealer, taking it back to the dealer, told her she needed $3,800 worth of exhaust work, that she needed the entire exhaust system replacing because the noise it was making the exhaust was bad. It needed the exhaust from front to back, $3,800. So I gave her a couple of suggestions, and she took one, called me back, and that was great. Called me back, say it cost her like just a little over $300 and it's fixed. My question to that tech would be, if you owned this car and this was your car with your honey and your kids, would you be putting $3,800 worth of exhaust on it? Answer would be no. What would you do? Exactly what she did, what I told her to do. And she did it to the T. Bam. Little over $300 fixed. And she said to me, you know, I've always trusted the dealer, but now I see. Now I see what's really going on. Now I see what's really going on. You getting it? I hope I'm not too rough on you, but I'll tell you what. You got to be rugged in this industry to play the game, and it becomes fun because it's like fishing in a barrel after a while, because once you know the rules, you can play the game. And you don't get caught up in the politics and everything else. Because wait till you hear this series that I'm putting together, and it has nothing to do with owning one. It has everything to do with the crap that's going on behind it that they're not telling you. They're not telling any of us. But it's all out there for you to get it. To dig and do the research and find out what goes on really behind the curtain when it comes to EVs, because they're not the answer. They're not. It's all political, folks. It's a fad. And when the bottom falls out and the truth hits the surface, It's going to be a whole new ball game. It sure is. Because what they're saying it's all about is not what it's all about. I'm going to leave that, park that right there so I don't spoil the series. What they're saying it's all about, but what it's really all about are two totally different things. And it's disgusting. That's all I'm going to say. It is absolutely disgusting what's really going on with electric cars. That none of the left-wing media will ever spew a thimbleful of that information because it would begin to turn a lot of heads in a different direction and go, what? You didn't tell us that part. Why not? Why not? 100 miles to the gallon fuel injectors. They're real. Why aren't we putting them in the cars? Cafe. Interesting, huh? Why aren't we going to be able to do the pops and son working in the driveway thing where, you know what, lives are carved out, interests are built, relationships are created. Dad's driveway wrenching versus the dealer-only culture. Loss of complete mechanical literacy and the impact on ownership costs. It's amazing what I'm watching unfold, and I'm sharing it with you. You don't need to be part of that culture. You don't. That's why I drive a 99, an 07, an 08, because it's safe in that area. It's safe. The things they're creating today created obsolescence. People have said it before. I think they know. And they plan for this stuff to break. Yes, they do. The bottom line is, yes, they do. The prices keep going up, but the quality keeps going the other way. Not on all, but on many. And what happens is, here's the other effect on the environment. If we're having to get rid of our vehicles every 3 to 5 years, if it makes it that far, that's why they don't give you a 7-year, 100,000-kilometer warranty. It's more like 360. And 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, and it's over, whichever one you strike first. They want it gone so they can make more. But they're having to make more vehicles to replace the ones that don't make it, that end up at the pull-it wrecking yard. And the reason behind all that is that good for the environment? Continuously having to pump out more and more and more and more volumes of automobiles. See what I'm saying? It's the game. And the mice have got to learn to get smarter than the cat. And then you play, he who knows the rules plays the game best and wins. And you can win right here in the Car Connection Workshop. Grab hold of all the information I'm giving you. I am sharing nuggets with you on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensville on the web. That's a website created by our videographer, Skippy. And she lives in Stevensville. My parents lived in Stevensville. My mom passed away in 22. My pops is still there. And some great businesses there. Great family-owned and operated businesses there. In fact, that's where I go to get my haircut done, is in Stevensville. Walk right in. They take care of you right away. You're in the door, out the door, looking good, touching wood. That's right. I think he took a little too much off yesterday. It's still not spring quite. But anyways, I said I'll see you in 3 months. But that website was created to bring the business owners in the community together, and I love that. I really do. And they have you know what? They have one of my favorite coffees in Stevensville, Donut Diner. There's still a Donut Diner alive and well in Stevensville. Yeah, that's where I went yesterday. I went, wow, you know what? I'm going to get a cup of Donut Diner. That coffee was really good. And country style donuts is my other favorite coffee. And my next one in line would be McCafe. They got it, I think. Anyhow. So tap in to the information that I have for you. I have over 44 years experience. My licenses are all up on the wall. I just paid for another year to have my tickets. Yeah, we have to pay every year to keep our licenses. I know. It's crazy, but again, it's another political scam is what it is. We got to keep paying to have our ticket. So we pay to get a sticker to go on our license card and on our diplomas. So, yeah, you've got a ton of information to tap into. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensville on the web. Tap on the businesses tab. That'll open our profile that Skippy has put up there for us, and you can email through there too if you like. We have our iHeartRadio. We're on all podcast platforms. So Saturdays, I'm switching to doing a 1-hour program. I almost do an hour anyway every day, but it depends on the topic. Half an hour, and plus, ads for our program partners that we love so much. We have to do that and say thank you to them for helping us and staying with us, coming off radio and staying with us to push us into the digital world so we can reach more and more people, and sky's the limit. So we have our iHeartRadio there. We're on every platform. Just type in Car Connection Workshop. You'll find us there, and our merch store. So if you're wanting merchandise, we have an online store, and it's safe and secure. You can order what you like. Get yourself an official limited edition Car Connection coffee mug and call it your own. And send us a selfie. Have a beverage out of our official, after 31 years, we finally have our own Car Connection coffee mug. That's insane. Proceeds go to help those struggling with addiction get to a total freedom addiction campus for Canadians and U.S. residents alike. There's a new life waiting for them there. They've been doing what they do best, helping people get through an addiction and come out the other side back into the real world, ready to face, having a job, paying rent, and feeding yourself and taking care of yourself. They're taught all those things from scratch at Total Freedom Addiction Centers for over 20 plus years. Is there anything else I want to share? Yeah, make sure you like, share, follow, ring the bell, leave a comment, and subscribe. 93% of you that are watching our YouTube videos, I know you like them, but you're not subscribed. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get some money coming in so that we can pay for parts and fix vehicles for widows, orphans, those going through a tough time, and especially single moms. So if you like real world car advice with no BS or garage stories, well, maybe once in a while, hit that subscribe button, because 93% of you watching aren't subscribed, and that tells me YouTube's showing our videos to the right gearheads, but you need to join us. So join Motormouth and my crew, and let's keep your ride on the road together. I'm helping you. Help us so that we can help a lot of others. As I've said before, Motormouth doesn't need another shiny thing. It's all about people and serving. To whom much is given, much is required. And that's how I live my life. I don't need it all. I just need a little bit. That's it. I'm happy and content with that. I've been around a while, and you do have to become, feel good in your own skin, if you know what I'm saying. Thank you to Crystal Ridge Dream Center for doing what they do in times when community sport is so crucial. Crystal Ridge Dream Center shines as a beacon of compassion and transformation, located at 385 Derby Road, right in the heart of Crystal Beach. They're changing lives one at a time. Women, children, young men, young women, seniors, single moms. They have programs for all of you. After school programs for the kids. They feed them. They play games with them. Chocolate bingo, one of my favorite. I wish I were a kid just to get in the chocolate bingo program, but I can't. I asked. I said, come on, you guys, sneak me in. Nope. Just for the kids, Motormouth. Love, hope, the whole schmeal. They feed out the door now almost 300 people twice a week. So if there's anything you can do to help, click on their logo, have a look at them, research them. They're a nonprofit, faith-based organization doing what we should all be doing, and that is serving one another. Thank you to Earl and Louise Grant at City Auto Sales and Leasing, low mileage quality vehicles at fair prices. Let them know what vehicle specific you're looking for. If they don't have it, they can find it. Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. They sell no junk there. Buy with confidence. Be treated with nothing less than honesty and integrity. That's Earl and Louise Grant, husband and wife team at City Auto Sales and Leasing. If you or someone you know is struggling right now with finances and deep in debt and drowning, there is hope. There is hope. I'm going to give it to you right now. Tony Miele and Larry Tetro are my brothers from other mothers. They've got 50 years as fiduciaries. They're both well-decorated, certified financial planning professionals, the most humblest two guys that you'll ever meet. Are willing to sit down with you, leave your wallet at home. Nobody's going to sell you anything for what we call the discovery meeting, an hour and a coffee. So whether you're a senior, you got investments at the bank, you need to get them out of there. If you're, a mother and a father raising kids and you've got investments with the bank, you need to get them out of there. And let the guys look at your portfolio and show you what they can do. You'll actually make money. Your money will work hard for you. They can put together a plan to take care of debt, estate planning, powers of attorney, health proxies, the whole 9 yards. It's not something you do yourself, folks. You just don't do it yourself. Mortgages, I haven't had a mortgage with a bank for almost 20 years. I have mortgage with IG Wealth, and I love it there. Interest rates are great, and they treat you like a people, not a number. And life insurance, critical illness insurance, they do it all. Sit down and get that discovery meeting done. All is not lost. That's what the world says. All is not lost. Sit, get your questions answered by my brothers from other mothers. I've been working with Tony and Larry for over 20 years. That's why I hope you can feel my heart here. Do it. Do it today. Call, book a meeting. Meet in person, by Zoom, in the office, the boardroom, at a coffee shop, at your home, but not in a box with a fox. They won't do that. I asked. They said, that's pushing it, Motormouth. Connect. Learn how to budget for your automotive repairs. Learn how to budget to purchase that next vehicle. And just learn how to be a caregiver of everything that's been entrusted to us. Happy motoring. Happy, healthy motoring. Have a great day at work. It's Thursday. We're almost made it to the weekend. Tomorrow's Fun Friday. We're going to be poking at those who have minivans. So come along for the conversation. We're going to have some fun, some laughs. And you probably, if you're a minivan owner, you're going to want to join us. It's going to be entertainment. It's going to be the whole package and then some to start the weekend. So that's tomorrow's conversation. Can you look stellar behind the wheel of a minivan? I don't know. I've never owned one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you get into that communal Dodge Caravan minivan community. I don't know how you get into that. But anyways, come along, have some fun with us. Be safe out there. Keep it under 100 and put that coffee on because we just might come to your house. Peace, patience, kindness always.